Hey, everybody. Sorry for the feedback there. I have two phones and a computer and my AirPods all working together to try to minimize this noise. So I appreciate it. If you just joined, that was one way or another from Hocus Pocus 2. As we know, it is Halloween today. So we're getting into the spirit. We're getting Elena up on stage. Give me 1 second. There we go. AirPods are going in. See if we can do that. All right, Elena, you there?
Jam. I'm here. How are
Hey,
you, Adam?
I'm good. Sorry about the feedback earlier. It's like when I'm switching from one phone to another, I don't know which phone has like the mic on, the mic off, and then there's like the computer input. It's like, oh, there's a lot. Spaces are a lot, but listen, we're getting better. We're getting, slightly better as we go. Did you do anything over the weekend for Halloween to celebrate?
Yeah, we actually hosted a Halloween party themed after What We Do in the Shadows, which is a really funny mockumentary on Hulu that we've been watching.
Yes.
So I was a
Oh
vampire.
my
Yeah.
gosh, Colin Robinson, the energy vampire, he's my
Oh,
favorite.
you watch
Yes.
it? Oh
That's
yeah.
my absolute favorite character. How far are you into the show?
I know. We're like about to finish it, like on the last season, probably like halfway
Okay,
through.
cool. Oh my gosh.
So we won't be of spoilers
No,
here, but yeah, I know what
yeah,
happens.
no spoilers here. All right, cool. Let's jump in. I want to welcome everybody and wish you a happy Halloween. My name is Adam, and I'm the head of community here at Rarible. I look after our social and community efforts, including Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and of course, Twitter Spaces. This is the show where Elena and I recap the news and discuss all of the latest industry developments. Elena puts together a really awesome newsletter called NF Times that she's going to tell you about. And Rarible also has one called Right Click Recap, where we just discuss what's happening in the world. And with that, Elena, I'll throw it over to you to introduce yourself.
GM. I'm Elena. I am a writer, photographer. I publish NF Times newsletter every Monday, and it's about articles about NFTs, technology ethics, Web3, and we do these Twitter Spaces with Adam every Monday, where we talk about the hot news. And we have so much this week. We have the Twitter update. We have Apple's App Store guideline changes, some metaverse news, and of course, we'll go through our speed round of what happened this week. And yeah, very excited.
Absolutely. Elena, you brought up two really important topics. The first is, of course, the Twitter acquisition by Elon Musk officially going through and, some of his first actions, and then also the Apple guidelines. Do you want to jump into both of those just as we kick off?
Yeah, I will. First of all, before diving into Twitter, I'm gonna say that on our newsmakers of the week, we have unfortunately Kanye West. I just wanted to note that he lost $2 billion in one day, which is a testament to our pop culture. And
Wow.
another important name this week was the new UK Prime Minister, who is the youngest Prime Minister in 200 years. Also, the first person of color to be UK's Prime Minister, and he is very bullish on crypto. In April, if you remember, there was a UK Treasury announcement about how, quote unquote, there was an ambition to make UK a global hub for crypto asset technology. Well, he was the one who wrote that, and now he's the PM of UK, which is bullish for crypto.
Yeah, I think we were live actually last week on the space when we saw the prices pumping, and we were like, "What's going on?" Do you remember that? And you were like, "I forget who actually, but it was one of us who was like, oh yeah, there's something happening in the UK." That was really cool to see that because we were literally like on air, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, wait, it's happening! ETH is going up, BTC is going up." We're seeing slight dips. I think that's pretty normal for a Monday. Just like everyone's waking up. Everyone's like, oh, wait, did I FOMO in too soon? Did I FOMO in too hard? You also have people who are like concentratedly like taking like small gains. They're closing out their positions. So like, I get it why there is some slide on days like Mondays, but also too, I think we're now in, this is my personal opinion, not financial advice, but I think, given these recent gains, we're up, into the 1500s, with Ethereum, maybe down. Let me just check right now where we're at with Ethereum. It looks like current price in USD is 1561. Yeah. So I think, yeah, there's going to be people who take these like little bumps and then sell and then ride it out. I think there's going to be people who, hodl. As we know, anyone can do whatever they want because ultimately it's your decisions, it's your finances. But I do think that we're in sort of a safe zone now. I don't see this really going back to 1200, 1100, 1900 unless something like really crazy happens. I think given the UK pivot, I think we're in strong standing here. But I don't want to take away from the other big things, Elena, that you have. So let's jump into those, and then if we have time, we'll come back around to ETH BTC.
For sure. I'm glad you kind of gave a little price action there as well. So our first big story of the day is, of course, Twitter. Over the weekend, Twitter is owned by Elon Musk. He changes bio to Chief Twit, which could be his official title, considering his official title in Tesla is Techno King of Tesla. So he enters the Twitter HQ last Wednesday. He tweets his video walking into the HQ with a sink, only to make the let that sink in joke, which is very Elon of him to do. And he's getting to know the Twitter crew. So there are conversations that, over 75% of people on Twitter are going to get fired. There are no such any fires yet, but probably will come. But some things that happened since he came into Twitter HQ. So the same day we got a tweet from Twitter dev that said they're testing out NFT tweet tiles, where users will be able to see full pictures of NFTs, their titles, creators. So that's definitely bullish on NFTs on Twitter's side. Another thing that happened immediately was Elon fired CEO Parag Agrawal, but don't be sad about him. He got 42 millions just for, managing this deal, basically. He fired CFO Ned Sagal, Vijaya Gade, the top legal and policy executive, and the general counsel Sean Edgetz. He announced an oversight board for content moderation and said that he's not bringing anybody back, including Trump or Kanye West, into Twitter before this board convenes. Binance is still in the deal, helping bring Twitter into Web3. They are investing $500 million. And as a private company, Twitter will be subject to less regulatory oversight, so we won't be hearing, much insider info from Twitter anymore. But shareholders got 54.20 bucks per share. And I had 5 shares of Twitter. Very little, but that's exciting. And the biggest news probably is that for $20 per month, users can get verified on Twitter now.
Yeah, I have a couple reactions. The first is the bit around letting the leadership team go, or firing them, excuse me. And I think it's actually quite important to choose the right words here because there are some people out there on the timeline. I don't know who exactly they are and what authority they have to speak on this, but usually there are some clauses that if people are fired, their entire package does not come to fruition. So for example, you said, Parag might be getting 50 million. Well, if he was fired for ethical reasons, and one of the potential reasons is that Musk is saying that Twitter withheld certain information within discovery. And then he actually tweeted this out. And then he tweeted, I think, what appears to be a screenshot of Slack. Let me see if I can find it.
But
essentially, oh, okay, yeah. Essentially, oh yeah, here it is. Essentially, if Parag and these other executives were found to be ethically violating the clauses, they may not actually see those. They may not actually see those returns that we all are saying that they might get. So that's one thing that I think is just a little bit different. Is if this is and if I were Parag or Vijay or Ned or someone else, and I was expecting to see that 50 million, I would probably either sue or I would, try to legally get my money. But if it can be proven that they purposefully withheld evidence, in the discovery phase of the trial, while Musk was, attempting to buy the company, I think, yeah, they might be out that money because they violated part of the ethics order. So that was the first thing. And then also too, in terms of verification, my understanding of that is it's not the same as being verified with the blue check. This simply means that you are verified as like a human. And so, like bots, for example, would not be able to like get this verification. I'm sure there would be like Twitter Blue-esque style benefits that come with it, but my current interpretation of what he means by verification is not the same as like the blue check, which usually there is some evidence required to get the blue check that you are an influential voice in the space. I don't think you're going to see like your grandma who just made her account yesterday, but can pay $20. She's not going to automatically become blue check verified. At least that's the way that I've read everything. But those were my two sort of like biggest reactions from the news right now.
Yeah, in terms of the blue verification, he's been talking about this for a long time, obviously, even before he bought shares from the company. And it $20 is of course like a considerable sum of money, especially compared to what Twitter Blue was charging, which I believe was about $3 a month. And how $20 is big enough of an investment of a fee for a lot of these bots to not continue. So hopefully Twitter, will not have as many bots as it has been so far, especially in the crypto sphere. And I believe Elon's takeover of Twitter will be good for crypto. Dogecoin already soared 150% since he got into Twitter HQ. So I don't know, $20 is a little too much, but power users, people who love Twitter, will of course see it as worth it and pay for it. But for regular folks, it might be a little too much. Perhaps a tiered membership could be interesting as well.
Yeah, I think when it comes to this stuff, this is sort of like my general like consensus with, these like very quick decisions is at first, like this seems great, but then if everyone is verified, then like no one is verified. So like the actual intention of the entire product disappears if you have sufficient adoption. Um, Again, because if everyone has the same thing, there actually is no reason to have it. And then I think you might get adoption up to a certain level. And then people saying, well, like, okay, if everyone's verified, because, verification does come with certain abilities. Like you may appear first in the replies because your voice is seen as, influential. Usually you have a large number of followings. There may be certain things you can do within the ads dashboard, like longer videos. There are things that being a verified user of Twitter, a blue check, as we understand it now, allows you to do. And so then I think if everyone has it, people are going to be like, okay, well, everyone has it. It's not important. Like if your entire timeline was filled with like everyone had a check of some sort, I would be like, none of this makes any sense. So I just am like, I get it. $20 would 5x the revenue because I think it's $4.99 right now. So maybe 4x the revenue if everyone stays and people keep buying it. But I don't know. I'm just not sold on these like quick things because ultimately then like it's a short-term gain on like the product suffering, in my opinion. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that Rarible was actually one of the launch partners for Twitter Tiles, which was actually pretty exciting. I'm going to pin the tweet up here.
That's exciting. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Elon wants to quite like make Twitter revenue up until $26 billion by 2028, which is 4 times Twitter's revenue right now. And he wants to make it at least 50% of revenue coming from subscriptions, which right now is close to 90%, which can, explain Elon's tweet to advertisers where he told that, he doesn't want Twitter to become like free for all, like a chaotic town place. So my guess is he entered this HQ. He noticed what a big, percentage of revenue advertisers bring, and then he's already down like $25 billion in this deal that he made. So he needs to increase subscriptions, and then with $20, we can make a quick math here too. And then also he needs to not lose advertisers. which is, I don't think he's going to do everything that he said before now that he has more info about the company. But I have a feeling that Twitter is going to get better. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I just worry, like, again, and I'm very much like old school Twitter from like when it was run by Jack and Parag, like that
When
scene,
you were
even if
working
he's,
there.
yeah, well, I just mean like even like this explanation of like the amount of money that he needs to make up. Is he making these changes because he himself is in debt and needs to pay them off, or because this is what's best for the world and best for like the users of the service? I think there's like, I'm not saying they can't coexist, but I'm saying that he definitely is personally interested in making this money back. I would be the same if I just spent, tens of billions of dollars, but that doesn't mean that, things like what happened on Facebook with Russia, with misinformation, with elections, with a lot of people getting their news online. I just worry that his view of trying to make this money back might be a little short in when it comes at the cost of these other things, which people like Vidya, who was the health, the sort of like the head of like health, safety, compliance, etc., was that was her whole real mission. So we'll see. We'll see. I think I definitely hope that we don't see any negative effects from people like gaming the system or spreading misinformation or other things, but it could happen. It could happen.
Yeah, exactly. And some of his goals are reach almost a billion users by 2028, increase average revenue per user by $5, almost $5.40, and produce $15 million in revenue from payments business as well, which is interesting, as he is, and probably will include more cryptocurrency payments. And we talked about his goal of making this into a super app called X, and probably payments will play a big role in that. And then he wants to have at least 100 million subscribers for that super app X by 2028.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen, at least online, like every once in a while, influencers in the space, like Kathy Wood or Elon Musk or Jack, will get on like video conferences and video calls. So I wonder if his plan is like to call Jack and be like, hey, can I integrate with, what is it now? Block? I think Square became Block or something like that. Jack's payments company. It could be really interesting to like try to make efficiencies through both of their companies now. I don't know if that would happen, but Elon, there's an idea.
Exactly. If there's nothing else you'll add on Twitter, we can move on to our second big story of today, which is the changes in Apple's App Store guidelines that's affecting NFTs.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hear about Apple.
Okay, so Apple, less than a month after Apple approved tokens to be bought and sold on App Store, they published an update that doesn't allow any NFT-related functions in the app. So users can view, sell, mint, list, or transfer NFTs, but cannot use any functions like license keys, AR markers, QR codes, or crypto wallets. The policy update bans apps from offering exclusive access to NFT owners or from linking their users to third-party sites where they might buy or sell outside of Apple, where the user could dodge the Apple tax, that is 30% of all profits. So the policy doesn't permit the sale of utility NFTs. And if you ask me, Apple knows that they don't have forever to hold on to their 30% Apple tax until antitrust bodies bring a change. If you remember, there was a whole lawsuit with Riot Games, with Fortnite, where Apple takes 30% cut of every single sale that Fortnite does, and whatever app does, honestly. There was a whole thing with Spotify and App Store as well, where App Store is not allowing for an easy buy of audiobooks, or there's whole details about how apps can tell their users how they can subscribe offline on their app, so like on a computer. Because fun fact, if you subscribe to Spotify online on spotify.com, they take 100% of what you pay them. But if you do it in App Store, Apple takes 30% of that going forward. So they have the quote unquote right to do as such, as they are providing the hardware, but locking all Web3 functionalities can be a long-term solution. Crypto is mainly on web right now, laptops, but our lives are incredibly more mobile. So we must find a way to bring Web3 to mobile, which is actually, what Solana is working on right now. They said they're building the Solana phone not only to sell it, but also to push Apple and Samsung and other phone developers to meet with the Web3 platforms in the middle.
Yeah, I think a lot of interesting news there. I mean, Apple, as we know, has always been protective over its revenue and doesn't want people skirting it. They don't want people going outside and trading it. Like they want their cut, and understandably so, because the reach of the Apple App Store, it's just like massive. This also seems to me like a little bit of a security play too. Like NFTs as they are, such as like, let's say digital art, for example, that doesn't like unlock or anything or provide any utility. Um, I think people can buy and sell and trade those, just sort of understanding that it's just the artwork, it's just the NFT, it's just the token. Once you start getting into utility for like unlocking things and airdrops and all these other things, I think you enter into like safety issues and then also compliance issues for how Apple would, if things are being unlocked or if people are getting things airdropped through, Apple products or, all these other things. I don't exactly know what possible use cases there could be, but I just see it sort of as Apple saying, like, we're not going to take any of this on because it would probably be a little bit of a regulatory headache. And I could understand that as well. So yeah, I think Apple can chill and do whatever they want, and they're still going to make their cut. So I applaud them for having sort of a strong stance here. I think wasn't it like several months ago where they said no NFTs at all and then updated their stance to like no unlockable content?
I think they said, if I remember correctly, that they were okay with NFTs like a month or two ago, but then they changed it to make it more detailed and making sure that okay, like this is our cuts and these are not allowed. I don't necessarily like this. Their security as their differentiation point, and they love to put everything on security and privacy, and they do try to do that. With the new update that allows for apps to not track your data. But if you think about it, Apple's also building their own ad business, leaning more into that. So there is that incentive, of course. And in terms of NFTs, the whole point is to not pay percentage to middlemen. Even marketplaces take 3% or less. So 30% is a huge cut for the crypto world, and I don't think this will stay for a very long time.
I think, just my personal opinion, I think Apple will keep it because they sort of have to as like a giant in the industry. I just don't think people will use the service. Like NFTs are not native to Apple technology. NFTs are native to blockchain and the internet, and you can do that anywhere else, like on your computer, on your phone. Like some people, this is like not something I recommend, but some people buy NFTs through their MetaMask browser. Yes, you could do it on iPhone, but you could probably also do it on any operating system that allows MetaMask. So I don't think like Apple is necessary here. So I actually don't think that many people will use it. The flip side to that argument is, if we're trying to onboard billions of people into Web3, we need to make it accessible. And so these types of things could help move us in that direction. I think the 30% is just wow. That's a lot. Like people don't even want to pay 2.5% or 5% royalties. You think they're going to pay 30% to Apple? Like,
Yeah, that doesn't seem native at all. But maybe Solana phone will bring some changes because mobile is needed. Like people leave parties just to go mint something, and you don't really want to have your MetaMask on your phone either. Even though I'm sure like probably most of us do, but it's just like difficult to have
yeah,
everything on computers. So hopefully
yeah,
we'll see more mobile changes.
yeah. So I have, this is like a very like, I guess, small push for a collection that I have, and I'll tell you why. So I have the Ledger Market Pass, and they airdropped everyone free Ledger Nano X black on black. It was like a limited edition. And so I have the Nano S, I believe. It's the one that you have to plug in. It doesn't have the Bluetooth technology into it. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because I claimed my Ledger, like my black on black for the Ledger, and it's being shipped to my house, I guess. And now that it has Bluetooth, I think it might actually be applicable with the Ledger Live app on my phone. So in times past, when I had to go home to like use my Ledger that plugged into a computer, or bring my computer with me and bring everything with me, I might just be able to keep my Bluetooth Ledger in my backpack and then use it with Ledger Live on my computer or with Ledger Live on my phone, and actually make some of those more cold storage decisions, but still with the safety of the wallet, and with the safety of like the buttons and everything, but mobile. So it does feel like sort of a step forward. Obviously, like minting, you should probably do that from like a throwaway wallet anyway, just in case the contract is compromised or you connect to something that's unsecure. But like wallet management and like token management and stuff like that, I always recommend from like cold storage. But yeah, I'm excited to get the Bluetooth capabilities just to feel more like on the go.
For sure. We can move on to our next Metaverse stories if you're down.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so we have some Metaverse news to be talking about. First up, we have Meta, Facebook's parent company, losing nearly its market value in the year after it changed its name. Back when firm was plain old Facebook, it was worth more than $1 trillion. But this week it was around $270 billion, which is interestingly less than TikTok. So Meta is worth less than TikTok.
That is scary, but I do think that Meta became, this is my personal opinion. I'm not an expert here. I did spend some time in tech, but I think Meta became too big to be sustainable. I think it sort of like forgot its own function, and then like became so big, so expensive, built out so many. I mean, I haven't opened Facebook in probably over a year, like on my phone or on the computer, just because most of those connections, like I either text or I see them on Twitter or I don't care. But there's so much built into it. I don't even know what it's for anymore. I don't know if anyone knows what it's for. And once you sort of lose sight of that, it just becomes nothing. And whereas TikTok is like a very easy, simple value proposition. So I can totally see that. And also TikTok's algorithm is so good. I get stuff in my algorithm that I'm like, I was thinking about this. How does the algorithm know? But it knows.
Yeah, I agree. Twitter, sorry, the TikTok has, very specific selling point, which is it's entertaining, and Meta's just been taking whatever new and putting it into their existing apps, which is not the best way to go forward. Like Be Real. I haven't used the Be Real functionality on Instagram nor TikTok because Be Real is just Be Real. Like I only log into that app to see my friends post like once or twice a day, and then I share once. And I don't want to mix that with other apps because that's just not the point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be curious to see, like what we were talking about earlier today with Twitter's developments on the technological side. It'll be see what Twitter's sort of like updated value prop is with Elon Musk, as its new owner. I could see there being more of a shift towards like free speech and having it be like the platform where anyone can say whatever they want. I don't necessarily recommend that or think that's great, but I could definitely see people being energized by that and coming back to the platform, particularly some right-wing people who thought that they'd been discriminated against or were being silenced or shadow banned or whatever else. I could see there being sort of a resurgence in user numbers if that was more the direction they were going. But yeah, I agree. Like if you try to be everything, you end up being nothing. And so having a really clear value prop, having a really clear, easy to use product. That was another thing. You'd open Facebook and there were so many products within Facebook. You're like, what am I supposed to do with this? You forget like why you even came there. You're like, oh, I can do everything. But I don't want to do any of this. So yeah, I just stopped like logging on.
Agreed, yeah. And let's move on to our next story of the week about metaverse. I don't know if you've heard of Lamina One.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's very exciting. I first heard about this in Consensus in Austin in late May. So the author of Snow Crash and the person who coined the name, the word metaverse, Neil Stevenson, have been building a metaverse company. So he's building metaverse as he envisioned it. And I heard him talk about this and met with some folks from Lamina One at Consensus. And what it is pretty cool, actually. So it is a tool to help developers build virtual worlds and connect them with other virtual worlds. So mainly, they're providing the infrastructure for building metaverses, but also for interoperability. And they're making it easier for others to build their own versions of their metaverse. So this might not work with existing metaverses like Sandbox or Decentraland, but going forward, if you have an NFT project and you want to build a metaverse component, or you want to make a gallery, or you're working with a company, whatever that is, you can use Lamina One's tools to build your own. And the company's CEO and co-founder, who is not Neil, put it this way, quote, "It takes too much effort for independent developers to build up these persistent digital worlds and monetize them. Lamina One wants to provide all necessary underlying technologies to indie developers." Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is dope. I think this is sorely needed for companies and for particularly NFT projects that want to have metaverse extensions, but either don't have the resources to build them, don't know how to build them, or don't want to invest in a direction that is not ultimately going to be interoperable. So I think this is super cool. This sort of reminds me of some of like the new contract templates that are coming out, smart contract templates, or um, like minting services that you can use to like upload your art, and then it does everything on the back end where you can set the rarity, where you can create the metadata, you can do all that stuff. I think Bueno has one. And then it automatically generates your like all 10,000 of your PFPs or however many you want. So really cool. I haven't seen stuff like this from the metaverse side as much. I know that in previous conversations you'd brought up where there are certain companies that are working on metaverse standards. But this is the first time that I'm sort of seeing this like open metaverse template being offered. And I think it's really dope. Actually, it's really cool.
I agree. It's very, very interesting. And we will continue to follow up with Lamina One and see who is building on top of that. Do you have any other
Yeah.
NFT news to add, or before we
Yeah.
move into speed round?
Well, I just wanted to remind everybody that 2 weeks ago, we launched Rarible 2, which is our really exciting aggregator with token rewards. So now when you're on Rarible, you'll see listings from OpenSea, LooksRare, X2Y2, SudoSwap, and you'll be able to shop different NFTs for ultimately the lowest price. So think of it like an aggregator. But also, if you are buying from certain collections, you'll also get rewards. And those collections get updated every week and they're voted on by the community. So this week, I'm pretty sure we have the QQL Mint Pass, we have the Ledger Market Pass, the Ledger Black on Black. We have MFers. Oh, so Elena, if you want to list your MFer, you might get some listing rewards. However, if someone buys it, of course, then you don't have your MFer anymore. But and then there was one other collection that I forget which one it was. It's not one I've ever encountered before, but yeah, really cool stuff on the Rarible front. We're always like building new things and trying to make the product better. So everybody should definitely check it out. But with that, Elena, why don't we hop into the speed round?
Let's go. So let's move on to our speed round where we go through some of the makers of this week. 11% of Gen Z workers say their first investing experience was through crypto, and half of them want their crypto in their 401ks. An internal document from Twitter titled "Where Did the Tweeters Go?" got leaked, showing a decline of heavy users. Reality Labs division of Meta, which houses VR headsets, lost over $9 billion in its first 3 quarters. Looks Rare NFT marketplace moves on to zero royalties. Sorry about we have 2 little doggies. Teleport creators raised $9 million to build a decentralized ride-hailing platform in Solana, which is interesting. First of, Web2 app turning into Web3 that is not social-based that I've seen. Sound, which is a music NFT platform, announced Sound Market, where users can browse sound releases with zero listing fee. And yeah, that is our speed round of today. And I actually wanted to say something else, but first, tell me your thoughts on those.
Well, I was actually going to be really curious to revisit our predictions from last week. I know that's something that we always we don't always remember to do it, but I think in this one it's pretty important because you had predicted that Elon Musk will own Twitter, and Elon Musk does in fact own Twitter now. So how do you feel about being right?
Okay, it wasn't the hottest prediction of all time, but yes, I do feel proud that I said he would own it by Friday, and I think he did by Friday. So definitely happy about that prediction. And I also want to say another thing before we move on to inviting people up. I'm heading to NFT London this week, actually tomorrow. So if anybody's there and want to connect, I'm happy to do so. And next week I'll have some scoops from NFT London as well.
I'm so jealous that you're going. Ugh. Let me know how London is. I hear the weather is a little wild at this time of year because of the changing seasons, and then also it's sort of always wild there. But yeah, definitely let us know what you learn, and let us know how the food is because I feel like you're gonna have the best time.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's also my birthday when I'm there, so it's gonna be interesting.
Oh no way! Happy birthday!
Thank you.
That's awesome. How old are you turning?
25.
Oh my gosh, for real?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you're so successful. I just turned 30. Damn, Elena.
I can't believe you turned 30. I'm in awe. I'm stressed about turning 25.
Oh my gosh, each birthday gets easier, honestly, because you realize it's just eventually, well, I don't want to get too morbid, but eventually you're just man, it's another number. I'm going to do my best today. And if I go, I go. It's my time. But I'm just going to do my best because I want to be proud of everything. At least that's how I've interpreted it. But
well,
okay. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna also say that before we move on to our predictions, if you have, and inviting people over. So to our audience, if you have a question, comment, feel free to request and we will invite you. But before that, I want to show you this meme that I pinned because I legit laughed out loud.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous.
It's Elon Musk coming into Twitter office tomorrow, and it's from Succession. And he goes, early in my tenure here, I wanted to say, sup.
Oh my gosh. Wait, can you pin it?
I did.
Oh, maybe it's just not showing up on my Twitter quite yet.
Probably come in a sec.
No. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's hilarious. Thank you for sharing, Elena. Is there anybody in the audience who has a question, who has a comment, who has a prediction for what will happen with Twitter or Apple? Any feedback on Rarible 2? Anybody out there?
Feel free to request. Tell us whatever is in your minds. And I've been playing around while we wait for that. I've been playing around with Stable Diffusion, by the way, which is very fun. I made some oil paintings with VR headsets, which I thought was very conflicting.
Well, it's interesting because remember last week, I think it was last week, we talked about AI ethics in particular with, I think it's Dolly.
Yeah.
And you're a full-on artist now. I mean, I know that you've been a photographer, but you're literally doing digital oil paintings. That's incredible.
I find it pretty fun to do, honestly. Maybe we can do a little I don't know, AI image generation competition or something.
Oh my gosh, these are literally so funny. This is Van Gogh.
Just counterintuitive.
Yeah, that's on. Yeah, this is amazing. Okay. Well, listen, I haven't seen anyone request, so I'm going to take that as there are no questions. We are getting out of here pretty much on time today. That's 2 weeks in a row. Good job to us. But before we go, Elena, do you have a prediction, something that you think will happen in the future?
Do you want to go first?
I think so. The floor of, let me just double check right now. The global floor of Doodles is 6.3, which is very disheartening. It looks like the lowest one is on X2Y2 for 6.3 ETH. I think Doodles are going to continue declining slowly until some sort of announcement about Doodles 2 is made. I'm very disappointed. I'm very sad. I mean, the floor is 6.3. And then, earlier in the year, we had talked about clones. That global floor is 7.8. So a 1.5 ETH, which is, over $2,000 difference in floor. Not that much if you consider like Bored Apes, for example. Like that's obviously a much bigger difference, but still still a little sad. So yeah, I predict that the global floor will in fact go down all the way into the fives. Sad but true. What about you, Elena? Any predictions or comments on that prediction?
Yeah, I do have one about Kanye West actually. And I mean, as you know, so many companies dropped him after his anti-Semitic comments, and just craziness happening. Uh, but I think that, he has mental issues and have been struggling with them. It's nothing, private. He has bipolar disorder, and I feel like, he wants to buy Parlor, and these people are kind of taking advantage of him in a sense. And but I think people love second chances. People are, inclined to give second chances, and probably not like soon, but if Kanye just turned around on his comments and was just like, I'm sorry, that was like a horrible, horrific um, time that I had, and I don't even know what's in his mind, but I think if he took back what he was saying and took actions to fix them, I think people would be more inclined to accept and forgive him, and get him back into the mainstream culture.
Okay. Well, those two predictions we will have to keep an eye on as our weekly spaces develop. I think that probably brings us to the end. Oh, wait, we might have one person who's requested. All right. It does look like we have one person who may want to come up. DEDC. We'd love to hear your question or your feedback. As a reminder, this is not the venue to shill your artwork. We just are really focused on the contents of the space today. So with that, I'll bring you up and you can share your question. Okay, it says connecting. All right. DEDC, what's your question or comment?
Hello everyone, how are you?
Doing fine.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm not speaking full English. I'm from Iran. My name is Ali Reza. My nickname is DEDC. How peanut my work?
Sorry, can you ask your question one more time?
Oh, no,
All right. Unfortunately, I think we lost DETC, but that didn't really sound like a related question anyway. So with that, Elena, do you want to let everybody know where they can find your newsletter?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. You can find my newsletter on nftimes.substack.com or on my profile, and you can find Rarible's newsletter on their profile called Right Click Save. We'll be back next week with all our thoughts, conversations about week's news. And to remind you guys again, nothing we say here is financial advice, but is the space is meant for educational purposes. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. It's my pleasure, Adam's pleasure to be here every week. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. See you next week. Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.